Hey guys, it's your boy Pew Pew or Juan here with another video. Today's video is going to be, I'm basically going to rank the teams and what I believe this season and how we already see them in the preseason, the offseason, how we view them, if they would make the playoffs or make the Super Bowl or just being relevant at 500 basically. So let's start here. So I have, for top would be basically Super Bowl contenders, teams that like for sure I know that could make it, like hands down could make it. Then you have the next one would be teams that made the playoffs, like made it to the divisional, passing the wild card, but still lost to go to the Super Bowl. Like teams that are just one game short from the Super Bowl. Next, my B is basically teams that made the playoffs but made it because there's basically you need teams to go in the playoffs that just to fill up space. C is basically they're bad teams, but they're teams that just at 500 basically. The best way to put it there. And the last one, teams that are just bad. Like under 500 teams are just like they're just playing because they have to play the season. Yeah, so let's get started, okay? First, we have the Cowboys. So the Cowboys is tricky now. They have Zeke, they have Dak, they have what's the receiver? The CeeDee Lamb, but they did lose their other like secure receiver, like the Cole Beasley type. So I don't know. If Zeke could just stay healthy. Just they keep on feeding him, and if CeeDee Lamb just produces and that O-line can hold, because that O-line was good before, you had Tyrone Smith at the left tackle. They had all these other like really good linemen, if they can still hold on for another year, they could be a really good team. But just because of that, I have them like making the playoffs, but like just filling up a spot for the playoffs. I don't really see them like divisional or conference championship game. Next is the Bears. The Bears, in my opinion, honestly, they're above 500 or under 500. I don't see them like if they're over 500 is maybe by a game. Like honestly, I don't see the Bears any threat. Their preseason, preseason's all right, but you don't really count them. But I don't see the Bears making it far. Maybe under 500. So I have them like in the bottom tier. Next, we have the Bengals. The Bengals for me is a team that I don't see them go to the Super Bowl, but then again, I don't see them losing that bad to miss the Super Bowl. So I would have them here under like Super Bowl contenders. The Bengals could still be a Super Bowl contender, but I feel like just now, last season compared to this season, you got to hold momentum. I don't think so. I feel like defenses already have a playbook against you already. So yeah, I have them at the top, like under top, but just not by a lot. Put it that way, not by a lot. Next, I have the Ravens. I have the Ravens next to the Bengals. The Ravens are a strong team. They have Lamar Jackson. People criticize him, saying that he should be a running back, wide receiver. But I don't know, man. Him in the pocket, he can throw. I don't have him going to the Super Bowl because I believe there's other teams still stronger than them. But I still believe they're a contender. They're a big contender, but not Super Bowl for me. Next, we have the Broncos. So the Broncos added Russell Wilson from the Seattle Seahawks, which sucks, but good for them. But I don't have them in the Super Bowl. I have them next to the Ravens, and here's why. I feel like now that you have Russ, okay? You have Russ now. This season for me would be a season for you to get to know the offense well, in a sense that for next season, for next year, you're set already. Like I have them going, I still have them going first in their division, like hands down. I have them going first. But I feel like there's going to be some disconnection in a sense that like Russ, they won't really know how Russ would play. Like say in the playoffs, an example. Seattle already knew how you played. Backyard football, move around, run around. The Broncos never really had that, you know? Like never know, like players might give up on the route and Russ is still running around, you know? But yeah, just because of that, I feel like not this season, but next season, they would be Super Bowl for me, the way how I see it. Okay. Next, we got the Lions. We got the Hard Knocks Lions. I was watching their HBO special earlier on the Hard Knocks. Yeah, just here. As much as what's his name, Dan Campbell cries and cries and cries. Oh, this team is amazing. Oh, this and that. You're not making over 500. You won 3 games last year. The best, maybe 5 or 6 games, in my opinion. Next, we have the Packers. Okay, we have the Packers next. The Packers, I have them next to the Cowboys. It's gonna piss off a lot of people. I know. I don't care. It's my, it's my ranking. You can make yours. Mainly because they don't have a number 1 receiver. What do they have? Lazard? Lazard is their number 1 receiver? Like, come on. I get it. Aaron Rodgers, you know, moves around the pocket, does this and that, but eventually he's going to get to the point where you're going to need that number 1. Okay? Like, he knew he took all that money. He knew he was going to lose Devontae. So not having that number 1, I feel like that, like, he'll still make the playoffs, but I feel like he's not that much of a scary team now. Like, to play in Lambeau Field, I feel like a team could go on Lambeau Field and win. Put it that way. That's what I think. But yeah, I have them like playoffs, but just to fill up a spot. It's gonna piss off people, but I don't care. Do your own ranking. Next, I have the Texans. Enough said. Next, I have the Colts. I know they got Matt Ryan as their QB now. They gave away Carson Wentz to the Commanders. I feel like they would be a playoff team if, what's his name, their running back? I think it's Jonathan Taylor. I think it's his name. Well, their running back. If his running back could just take the load off of him, just run and run, feed him, and he gets first downs and first downs and first downs. I feel like if that team would be a good playoff team. I don't necessarily think they'll make the Super Bowl or maybe the conference, final, but I believe having that, running back to like subsidize for what they were lacking in QB. Because think about it, you have a good running back, that's less pressure on your QB to throw. You have your play actions, you could fake the run, throw it to the side, slant round or anything. Yeah, so that's why I think, I think the Colts would make the playoffs, but I'm not necessarily that they'll make it far. Next, I have Jacksonville. They signed, I think, what's his name? Christian Kirk from Arizona. They overpaid him. They have his name. Well, their QB, Lawrence. Yeah, maybe they'll probably reach 7 games this year. My best bet, 7 games. But yeah, that's they're there. Next, we have the Chiefs. So the Chiefs, in my opinion, I still think they're here. I was in like doing these rankings in my head. I was like writing down notes, and for some reason, like I feel like not having Tyreek is a big deal. Like people make it seem, oh no, it's just Tyreek, Patrick Mahomes, would run around in the pocket. Still has his tight end, but still, man, having Tyreek open up the secondary in the back, that's a big loss in my opinion. I know you got what's his name, Juju and all that, but still having Tyreek in the back like was really missed. And yeah, just because of that, I don't have them. They could make the Super Bowl, they could make it, but I don't think that team right now. I don't think that team could beat Denver in Denver. Put it that way. An example. Or just think about it. I have mostly AFC teams already like playoff bound. they have a hard. They got the Broncos, they got the Ravens, they got the Bengals, man. Like that's tough. Just because of them losing Tyreek is a big loss. People don't want to admit that, but you have to admit that. Like that was a big loss. Next, I have the Chargers. I have them same spot. So I basically have almost all the AFC West there. I have them the same spot with the Chiefs. You know, they did go hand in hand with the Raiders last season and towards the end. They did make the playoffs. But I just feel like something's going to go wrong. And for that reason, I just feel like they won't make the Super Bowl. But they're still a really strong team. Next, I have the Rams. The Rams, that's Super Bowl bound already. You signed Bobby Wagner. You keep most of the other players. You're re-signing players even though you don't have a cap on your salary, apparently. The Rams, in my opinion, will win the Super Bowl again. They'll go back to back. I hate the Rams. But realistically, the Rams right now, I don't want to play them. We have to play them twice a year. Put it that way. The Rams will win the Super Bowl, in my opinion, but I have them like the top premier. Next, I have the Raiders. The Raiders, as I'll put them. I don't know. This one's tough. I get it. They added Devontae Adams, you know, and all that. You know, I'll put them here. I have all the AFC West here. I think they're a strong team, man. What's his name? Josh Jacobs as the running back. They have the, what's his name? Renfro, I think. Their slot tight end. They have Devontae Adams now. And in their defense, they have Chandler Jones. What's the Max Crosby? I think that's his name. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that team's, they're pretty stacked. I don't see them in the Super Bowl, but they're pretty stacked. If they were to win, honestly, if they were to win one of, for example, like in the playoffs, let's say they're in the playoffs. If they were to beat the Chiefs or the Broncos, in a sense, I see them going to the Super Bowl. That's how I see it. But mainly just, I don't know. I just feel like that team, you don't know if they're going to be good or bad, you know? It's really their first season with Devontae, which is going to open a lot of possibilities. It's going to make Derek Carr look like a top 5 quarterback. Watch. Next, I have the Dolphins are next. The Dolphins tricky. The Dolphins, I feel like they'll be like a team over 500, but won't make the playoffs. I get it. They signed Tyreek. Tua, I feel like he's more comfortable now, but that's just, I don't know. I feel like in that division, you have the Patriots. I don't know. Just that division is it's weird, you know, because you have the Patriots, you have the Bills. Those are strong teams, and not every team can make the playoffs, you know. They're a good team. You know, they signed Tyreek. And some other players I just forget, but I have them over 500, but not making the playoffs. Okay, make your own ranking if you don't like mine. Next is the Vikings. I don't think they're bad, but I believe they'll be over 500, but they won't make the playoffs. I get it. They have Justin Jefferson, I think is his name, at their receiver. Just mainly because they have Kirk Cousins. I get it. Kirk Cousins, if he doesn't play on Monday nights, he's a really good quarterback. People judge Kirk Cousins, but think about it. He has won games and hard stadiums. But still, I don't have him making the playoffs in that sense. They could make it. They'll be over 500, but I don't see them making the playoffs. Next would be the Bills. Super Bowl. The Bills are stacked, man. There's nothing really much I can say. Josh Allen's a beast. That whole stadium is fucking cold to play in, like Lambeau Field, but that their fans need a title, man. I feel like those two teams mainly would cause havoc, and if they were to make the Super Bowl. Next, we have the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I'm gonna have them here. Mainly because, think about it. Devontae Adams isn't gonna play for like 7 weeks. I think for performance enhancement drugs or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't have him. I don't have that team. I feel like they're not really sold in Kyler Murray. I know he resigned, but they did criticize him for, like, I guess not knowing the playbook, and that was part of his deal. He had to like study the playbook, which is cold and wild. but I feel like they're one of those teams that like they will be good, but not necessarily like they'll probably miss the playoffs by a game. That's like the best way to explain it. Next, I have the Panthers. I have them here, like over 500, but will make the playoffs, mainly because if Christian McCaffrey, if Christian McCaffrey could stay healthy, Baker Mayfield would be their quarterback. I feel like that's a good duo, you know, like that's it's all right, you know, Christian McCaffrey, but that's if they stay healthy. If McCaffrey's hurt, they're down here. But if he's here, if he's healthy, then they'll be there. That's the best way of explaining it. Next, we have the Browns. They're not bad, but they are losing players left and right. I'm gonna have them down here. You know what? Now I have them here. They'll probably be like at 800. I mean, at 500. Deshaun Watson is not playing 11 games, mainly because he was suspended for 6 games, but I guess the NFL did an investigation on him as well, and he was suspended for 11 for those massage parlors and all that he would get, you know. But yeah, just if he were to play like the full season, I'll probably have him like here. But since he's missing, I mean, they still have like good players, you know, Anderson and Njoku. They're 2 running backs. So yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I'll leave them there. It makes it fair if I leave them there. The Falcons, yeah, I'll just put them down here. They got Mariota, but still, they lost Calvin Ridley, their number 1. Yeah, that team isn't really gonna make it far. The Patriots, I have them here, mainly because they will make the playoffs. They'll probably just take up a spot, but I don't see Mac Jones that like as a threat. You know, like people don't really talk about him. Like, I hope he proves me wrong. You know, I hope the best for players, but I don't see the Patriots like the Tom Brady Patriots. I don't see it. They will make the playoffs, but compared to these teams right here, no. They're where like the Packers are, the Cowboys, the Colts. That's where I believe that they'll probably make it. Next, we got the Saints. The Saints did get Michael Thomas back. James Winston's kind of healthy already. They still got Cameron Jordan in the defense. I'm gonna have them here that they'll make the playoffs just to pick up a spot. They would have to play, you know, like the Rams. They would have to play the Cowboys. They would play the Packers. If they were to make the playoffs, but yeah, I have them maybe like taking up spot, but not necessarily making it far like to a divisional or making it far to a conference, maybe a wild card. That's the best scenario. Next, we got the Giants. Man, if you were to see their training camp videos, those are bad. Like really bad. Like bad. Daniel Jones just lobbing passes to people in the field, but like outside of the field. Yeah, that team, they didn't need QB. Daniel Jones is not fit in that system. He's not there. Next, we got the Jets. Who did the Jets get? They didn't really get anybody. Like, I mean, they filled up their secondary. You know, they got Reed. But other than that, I mean, that team still under 500. That team needs a lot of help. They have their coach. What's his name? Saleh. Good coach. Should have stayed in San Francisco. But yeah, I don't think the Jets are gonna make it that far. Next, I have the Eagles. The Eagles are a team that I think will make the playoffs, but they won't make it far. It's the best. That's the best case. What I believe that they will do. What's his name? What's their QB name? His name. Well, their QB, the Eagles QB. If him and his number 1 receiver they got from Tennessee, if both of them are in sync, I believe they'll make the playoffs. If those 2 are in sync, people are judging the Eagles that they won't make the playoffs, but I think they'll make it. I think they'll make it this season. Next, we have the Steelers. I'll have them here mainly because I believe you'll start off with Mitchell Trubisky, and then he's gonna be slowly like decline, and they're gonna have Pickett go in. Yeah, I have them maybe going like, well, they can't even go 500 because there's 17 weeks. I mean, yeah, but you have a rest week. Maybe like 7 and maybe like 8 and 10. No, it would be 7 and 10 if anything. They'll win more than 5 games. Put it that way. I don't see them like up here, you know, or like making the playoffs, mainly because they have a rookie like that would take over if anything. Because Mitch Trubisky would start. Realistically, he would start, but he's not making it far. That's how I see it. Next, we have the Seahawks, my team. I don't want to be biased, but I don't think the Seahawks are that bad as what people say they are. Put it this way, yeah, their preseason was pathetic. Their second game was pathetic. I don't even know who our QB would start. If I had to choose, I think it would be Geno Smith would start, but I feel like Drew Lock would take over like maybe halfway through the season. People saying Seattle's gonna win maybe 3 games. I don't think so. I think they're decent. They still have Jamal Adams in the back. They have Diggs in the back as well. They filled up O-line spots. They did lose in the preseason game. They did lose one of their guards. But I don't know. You still have DK, you still have Tyler Lockett. I feel like if you just give Drew Lock or Geno Smith time, he'd make it. But they're here and here. Put it this way. I know I'll just put it down here just to be realistic. As much as I don't want to, I don't think they'll be doing that bad. But out of all these teams, I feel like Seattle is still a better team, in my opinion. Yeah, so let's go next. The Niners. The Niners is, I don't know. The Niners, you don't know how Trey Lance is going to be. People are saying, oh, Super Bowl bound. And others are saying, oh, well, he's barely going to take over a full season. I have them here. They'll make the playoffs. But I don't know, because you got to look through the season. But I think he'll make the playoffs. Probably like a good record, probably like 11-5, 11-6, or depends how the endings, the records end. They could be up here. They could, depending on how Trey Lance plays. But just for now, I would have him here. I mean here. But he could go up. That team could go up. That team's pretty strong. But yeah, I have him here. Next, we have Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's here. Here, if anything, but I feel like it would be the Rams and Tampa Bay. These two teams, you can't count out Tom Brady. Put it that way. They signed Julio Jones. They kept most of the starters. The defense is almost the same. The Rams and the Buccaneers are the two teams that are gonna fight to be there in the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Could be the Niners, could be the Packers, could be Dallas. But it's gonna be up to these two teams. Next, we have the Titans. The Titans, they did lose a lot of players. They'd still have Derrick Henry. I feel like they'll make the playoffs, wild card if anything. Not much to say about them. I mean, just a bland team. Bland team. They're just give the ball to Derrick Henry. That's their game plan. Yeah, they'll make the playoffs wild card spot. And next, we have the Commanders. I'll have them here. Carson Wentz is a QB now. What's his name? McLaughlin? I think that's their receiver. I mean, he has, just because, I don't know. There. I'll have him here. I don't know, not much to say about him, but yeah, they're okay. But yeah, you know what? I'm putting Seattle back here. Screw that. They're not that bad. That's what people think they are. They're still better than the Bears, even though they lost them in preseason. But it's preseason, like 20 starters didn't even play. They're better than the Lions. They're better than the Texans. They're better than Jacksonville, than the Falcons, and these two teams, New York teams. Yeah, they're here, if anything. So yeah, guys, those are my predictions on basically teams that will make the playoffs and teams that will be close to making the playoffs and teams making the Super Bowl. You guys could make your own ranking. Or just let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me. And if you don't agree with me, just give me the teams that you believe will be higher or lower. And just give like a little detail so I can read them. You know, I like reading comments, even though I don't get a lot. But yeah, like I mentioned, these are my rankings. You can agree with them, you can disagree with them, but yeah, that's all I got, yo. If you like the video, share it, subscribe. Yeah, that's all I got. Peace, y'all.